Hey guys, what's going on? It's Bertrude. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're using a build that's extremely strong. It's a poison build and it uses a lot of different damage stacking buffs that all work together really well. I'm going to take you through the flow of an invasion and show you how this build all works. This one's called the Mushroom King. So this one's a level 125 build. We've got the standard 60 Vigor, 30 Endurance, 50 Dex, we're pretty much just a Dexterity build, and then we've got 20 Arcane. For our main weapons on the build, we'll be switching between an option of 3, the first one being 2 Warhawk Talons. After this, we've got the option to use 2 Antspur Rapiers. And then our third option on the build is 2 Scavenge Curve Swords. All of these weapons are all equipped with the same Ashes of War. Now at the start of each invasion, the first thing that we're always going to do is two-hand our left arm weapon and use the Ash of War Seppuku. This isn't for any kind of bleed purposes, but it's to activate the first buff on our build in the Blood Talisman, the Lord of Blood Exaltation, which gives us a damage buff when there's bleed in the vicinity. After this, we're then going to focus on applying poison to our enemies, and we've got the Ash of War Poisonous Mist to help us do that. Applying poison to our enemies activates the next 2 buffs on the build, the first one coming from the Kindred of Rot Exaltation, and then we're also using the Mushroom Crown, so both of these 2 things gives us even more damage on top of the damage buff we're already getting from Seppuku. Our next lot of buffs comes from focusing on our consecutive attacks. Once we use our flask, you'll see that it gives us a boost to our dexterity, which gives us slightly more base damage, but then it's also got Thorny Cracked here in it, which boosts the power of our consecutive attacks. Our main weapons on the build all benefit from this because they're all quite fast attacking weapons, but then to boost this even further, we use a Militant Prosthesis, and this also has the added bonus of giving us 5 extra dexterity. Now this is where the build really starts to come into its own. Once we've used Seppuku and we've applied poison, we're really starting to get a lot of damage buffs going. And then we switch to an offhand weapon that we've got prepared with a really hard hitting Ash of War, and once all those damage buffs are stacked, this is capable of putting out some huge damage numbers. And then to boost the Ash of War, whichever one we're using, even further, we're also using the Shard of Alexander. So that's the game plan guys. We drink our flask, we use Seppuku, we apply poison, we've got the damage to our consecutive attacks, and we switch to our offhand weapon to do some insane numbers with the Ash of War. Anyway guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content, it's really appreciated and helps the channel a lot. But it's nearly time for the invasions, so you lot sit back, get your feet up and enjoy the video. I always found that it was the best idea in these invasions to locate our target first and then activate Seppuku before I'm well within range of them. Obviously when using Seppuku you're stuck on the same spot and you also do a bit of damage to yourself. So if you leave it too late and try and activate that buff while they're within range of you, take it from me that they will jump on you and do even more damage whilst you're buffing, and then all of a sudden you've got the damage save done plus the damage of Seppuku and you're in a real bad spot at the start of your invasion. So locate them first, give yourself a lot of space, activate Seppuku and then engage. Also Seppuku is not the longest lasting buff, so I always look to reapply it whenever I got a chance. Piercing Fang is obviously a great Ash of War to use on the build. It covers a lot of ground, it's got good range and it does some good damage, especially once all our damage buffs are stacked. However, in the future I may switch this one out and use something like Spinning Slash or Sword Dance. only because an Ash of War like one of those would also benefit from all of our consecutive attack buffs. The Waterfowl Dance is obviously an extremely strong Ash of War, and especially since patch 1.10 it just benefited massively, but on this build it's just broken. If you look at the summon now, I was convinced the summon was going to die, but he managed to get a heal off at the last second. But yeah, on this build, once all our damage buffs are stacked, they're poisoned, we've used seppuku, everything's working together, the Ash of War benefits from the buffs of the consecutive attacks, it's just disgusting. This build is obviously really strong all round, however I do feel like I could just go in and use the Warhawk Talons plus the Hand of Millennia and win 99.9% of every invasion that I do. That's how strong the Hand of Millennia is on this build. However, that's not my style, you guys do know that. You know I like to mix things up a bit, variety is the spice of life, and there's just too much going on in this game just to have one OP weapon on a build and use it all the time. So we mix it up a bit, we switch up those weapons, we switch up the Ash of War. It's still really strong, we win a lot of invasions, but you know, like I say, we like a bit of variety. And it's an invasion like this, at level 125, where having a strong build makes a really nice, refreshing change, when you have a lot of builds like I do that are often quite quirky, and not always the strongest. At level 125, these guys are doing a lot of damage, they're using 2 double curved sword setups that are doing a lot of bleed damage. So having a strong build and having the confidence to go into an invasion like this, and know that I still stand a good chance of winning if I play well, you know, it just feels good. I did deliberate for a while with this build whether or not to include the Scavenger Curve Swords and, for that matter, the Antspur Rapiers. The Warhawk Talons that we used do a really good job with 2 straight swords, however I didn't know if the Curved Swords and the Rapiers would be a bit too much of an overkill. But after a bit of thought I came to the conclusion that this is level 125, I'm fighting groups of 3, people are summoning hunters, and everyone else is doing some big damage. So let's just have a build that isn't ashamed of being really strong. Let's give ourselves a chance in those really tricky invasions where usually it'd just be a loss. Let's make this build really strong and give ourselves a good fighting chance. The Antspur Rapiers are doing a great job for me at the end of that invasion, finishing off that host. We had the Hand of Millennia available with the Waterfowl Dance if we needed it, but the Ant-Spear Rapiers are that strong, they benefit that well from the buffs to the consecutive attacks that we didn't need to use a Hand of Malenia. The Ant-Spear Rapiers are obviously just a really strong weapon option all around. They apply rot, but on this build they help us apply poison with the Poisonous Mist. Just a really strong weapon. You've probably noticed on this invasion that we're using the Noxlow and Curve Sword in our offhand. I've not actually spoke about that yet on this video, but it's a weapon option that I really like. The summon here is doing a good job drawing me into those explosive PvEs, but he's none left, he's no more support, and we managed to get the kill. But yeah, the Noxlow and Curve Sword, great weapon option. The Ash of War comes out really quick, it's got deceptively good range on it, and with this build, once all our damage buffs are stacked, it hits like an absolute truck. Yeah, really good, really strong Curve Sword. I had to include this invasion on the video, guys. I told the host I would. I actually had a chat with the host afterwards. I told him that I'd feature him in the video. So, Victor, here's your shout out, my dude. So you've obviously noticed by now that Victor, the host in this invasion, is currently idle. You know, he's probably off getting a drink or taking care of some business on the loo. But either way, we take care of his summon, and now we can have a bit of fun with the idle host. There really is only one thing to do. But it was funny because a couple of minutes later I got a message off the host, Victor, saying that he literally just got back to his monitor just in time for me to see him kick him off the ledge. Like I said though, he was a good sport about it and we had a little bit of a chat after, so GG's. I invaded this duo a few times over the course of this invasion session, and he was never afraid to gank me 2-on-1, he was always super aggressive and always made it generally really hard. So as I spawned into this invasion I saw that the host was busy over there with the tree sentinel. I wasted no time getting over to the summon trying to help my fellow invader to take this guy out, and then we can go and kill the host. Once we took care of that summon, we noticed that the host had absolutely legged it up here over to the ledge, but he was nowhere to be found. So unless he'd managed to perform some kind of miraculous vanishing act or he'd grown wings and flown off the edge, we knew he was up here hiding somewhere. It was just a case of sniffing him out. I was really pleased with this invasion. They're an aggressive duo, it's a 2-on-1, and without being big-headed about it, I just managed to outplay them both. It's one of those invasions where my spacing was bob on, my timing was bob on. I take a few hits, but overall we managed to deal with an aggressive duo here really well. The Ash of War for this invasion is a Nagakiba using the Poison Moth Flight. You'll see there that we actually did a lot more damage to the horse compared to the summon. That's because the horse was already poisoned, and you get the most damage out of Poison Moth Flight when you use it on someone who's already poisoned. You get that big poison explosion and it can hit for quite a decent amount of damage. The horse there just got a touch too aggressive and he left himself open for a couple of big hits, and we managed to get the win in the invasion. Out of our three main weapon options between the Warhawk Talons, the Scavenger Curve Swords and the Antspur Rapiers, the Warhawk Talons there are definitely my favourite. They're just really good for dealing with more than one person. They've got those wide swings, they do good damage, and they're just super stylish. This is a really good one-on-one against this horse in this cramped little room. You'll notice in this invasion that we're using the Urumi whip. This is really strong on the build. The Ash of War on this one is Royal Knight's Resolve, so it's giving us an even further damage buff. And then the charged heavy attacks actually hit twice, so it takes advantage of the consecutive attack buffs that we've got on the build. This was definitely an awkward invasion. I spawned into Volcano Manor and I noticed that the horse and his summon are way down beneath me. There is room for me to drop down, there's some ledges I can reach them on, but it just leaves us on a little narrow ledge for the fight. I'm not complaining, it was just a bit cramped and a bit messy, but a fight's a fight, so let's get it on. The Nox Flowing Curve Sword there again doing some big damage for me, helping me see off that summon. Now it's just a case of focus on the horse and let's finish off this invasion. He falls down, I'm a bit too eager, I fall down, he dies, I die, everyone's dead, but it was a good invasion, a win's a win, I'll take it. This one shows just how strong the Urumi whip is on the build. Sometimes one charged heavy attack is all you need. You've got to love this summon cosplaying as a Crucible Knight. They've got some awesome weapons, they've got some really cool incantations to choose from. So any kind of Crucible Knight cosplay, you know, it's alright by me in my book, and you won't go far wrong in terms of what build it ends up being. This horse takes off on a little bit of a run after we kill the summon, but we manage to catch up to him on the stairs. We have a little bit of a one-on-one with him in this hallway, but the consecutive attacks from the Urumi whip come good again, and we manage to finish him off with one strong attack. And this is the last invasion on the video, guys. I was actually really pleased with this invasion. This is a good player we were fighting, and he managed to take quite a strong early lead against me. It was an honest duel, so there's no healing, but with a bit of good play, a bit of good space and timing, we actually managed to come back and win this invasion. Can I just ask, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. Our next big target for the channel is 1,000 subs. We've just passed 800, so 1k is well and truly on the way. Every sub helps, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, everyone who takes the time to watch and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let's try and make a big push and get towards that 1,000 sub mark. So as always, guys, you lot take it easy, look after yourselves, look after each other, enjoy your day, enjoy your week. Life is good, enjoy your invasions, enjoy your gaming, take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.